Okay, boys and girls, this will help you with your reading response log. We're going to do this instead of the paper response logs. So if you already started that, thank you, but we're not going to use that. We'll do this instead, and we'll give it a go, see how it works. On your classwork part, you should see two things. This, if you open it up, will be directions on how to use the log. They're also inside this presentation. The idea is this presentation right here is going to be your digital response log. But instead of just having blank responses, this slideshow here will give you task cards. There are 40 of them. You can just pick 5 that you would like to respond to. There is a schedule on when to use a task card. It's basically every 5 chapters. So if you go ahead, and you're going to need to open up 2 presentations. This is the first one. This will show you what replaces our paper logs. Here's the cover. You can go ahead and put your name in there. These are directions that tell you a schedule as to when to choose a task card and when to respond, plus some other directions. And these, I'm going to show you how to do this, but these are step-by-step directions on how to get the task cards into the log. So here's the idea. These are blank spaces, and over here, it asks you what number your task card is going to be. But I thought it would look a little better and be nicer if you could actually take the task card that you're responding to and put it right before your response. So to do that, you'd have to go back to Google Classroom. I'm looking at this from a student view, so it should look the same on yours. If I open this up like this will give you access to the task cards. So you're really working with 2 different presentations, but you're trying to make this presentation have your task cards plus your response. So if I go back to the bank of task cards that are here, they're all for nonfiction, but some might apply better than others. And let's say you want to work on an author's purpose one, and it's task card 4. What I would do, there's a couple things I can do, but I can simply, can you shut the timer off, Cole?
Alexa, stop timer.
You can simply do Control C to copy it, is one way. You could also go to Edit and press copy. That's another way to do it as well. But you've saved it in the memory of the computer. As long as you touch it like this particular slide is now highlighted. If I touch this one and press copy, it would copy that one. If I touch this one, it's going to copy it. So I can do 2 things. I can do Control C and it'll temporarily copy it, or I can do Edit, and you can do copy. Now, because it's in its memory, it's going to now put it into another presentation or somewhere else. You would go back into here. Now, if I put this right here, it's highlighted. So it's going to go right on top of my response. I don't want to do that. What I have to do is I want to go in between the directions and my first response. If I touch this, it will replace it. Don't do that. So if I go right here in between, it knows I'm going to insert something. So I could go down to Edit, and I can press Paste. And if I didn't want to do that, I could have done Control V for paste. Now, when you see that, it puts it right into your presentation that you would hand in, because the other one is just task cards. And then it says, do you want to link these cards? Well, you don't. You don't want to link to the original that you took it from. Don't worry about that. So just go ahead and press Do Not Link. And again, these directions are on these slides. And then what will happen is you now have, if you go back to the beginning, you now have your reader's response, you have a schedule, you have directions for how to put the task cards in. Remember, you're only choosing 5 for 5 responses, and they're not due to the end of March. It gives you some directions, and then if I was going to respond to this task card, I have it here so I can look back and refer to the directions. If it asks you several questions, make sure you answer all of them. And then you can go ahead and look at the response. So over here, once you touch it, it should become open so you can put in the chapter and the pages. So if I did this for chapters 1 through 5, let's say I wanted to respond to chapter 3, I would put the chapter 3 and I would put the particular pages, either all the pages or certain ones that reply to your response. Put the date you did it, the task card number. Well, if I look back here, it's number 3. Self-rating, depending on how you worked on this, think about a 1, a 2, or a 3. We try to aim for 3 most of the time, but just kind of reflect on your writing, reflect on your response, grammar, punctuation, the time in which you took to do the response, maybe use text evidence, give yourself a rating, okay, there, and you can just simply highlight a number. When you go into this part, press this and a text box should come up. It says type response here. Now, I did say in the directions that you can, I believe, change the font. I wanted you to proofread and review. For the responses, you can alter the font or size, but please obviously choose readable fonts and sizes. I put it on a notebook background. You don't have to get the words to match there. I just thought it was a cute background, but you can change the font, but make sure it's reasonable. It's not too small. It's not too big, and that it's usually would best be print. It's a little hard for me to read the cursive ones because they're tiny. So be kind to me. I'm old. So anyway, you would just proceed with the rest of that. If I wanted to do this again for the next response, and if I look at my schedule, I would say, well, when I'm reading chapters 6 through 10, I'll go make another response. So I can just do the same thing. I would go back in to my old one, and let's say I want to do, this one, okay? And we can answer some questions about that. So if I would just simply just take this and I would do Control C, then I would go back to my other presentation. As long as it's highlighted here, if I put it on top of here, it will replace it. And if that happens, just press undo. It'll change it. So if I go into here, I would just press Control V, or I could also go to Edit. And when I go to Edit, I will have an option to paste. I do not want a link. So I would just press Do Not Link, and I would just leave it there like that, okay? Please let me know if you have any questions. This is all a learning curve. You're doing a really great job. I just wasn't sure if everyone would be able to scan and send in their responses, and some of you may have not received them. So we just decided to go digital for this. Again, it's not due till March 30th, and let me know how it goes. We'll see over time what works best for us. Thank you so much for all your hard work, boys and girls.